Gather round everybody for the last video of the Goddess Awakening course. I felt quite emotional before making this. It feels sad, but it feels beautiful that we've come full circle and that the course, the videos, the meditations and the content can be used at any time over and over again. So even though we've come to the end of this first cycle of the Goddess Awakening course, I'll just talk about a little bit at the end of the video, taking it further and deepening your experiences or how to work with this material after the course is finished. But as you can see by my lovely stylish hat, my very expensive Tesco's witch's hat, we are in the last week, we're in the Crone week, and I hope you've enjoyed the material for the Crone week so far. I felt such a slowness with the Crone. I felt this winding down and releasing of all the energy that we've built up in the previous 8 weeks. We've built up a lot of energy, haven't we? We've worked through so many different energies and archetypes, and some of them have been very feisty and fiery and passionate, and some of them have been very deep, and some of them have been very nurturing. And this one is all about slowing down and processing what's happened for us, clearing what we have learnt to release. So clearing my voice maybe would be a good idea. Sorry about that. Clearing what we need to release. Maybe things have really come up this course, over this course, and they have me going through it with you guys. Every time it will happen. Things come up that I've really released and let go of over this course, or things that I've started to, things that I've noticed that have been wowzers. This is some intense barriers that I've been holding, or some issues that I've been carrying, and the Goddess has lovingly showed me and probably showed us throughout this course. And yeah, I can't say I've released it all over the 8 weeks, but the beginnings has happened, the changes have begun, and I'm really, really proud of you guys, because I know you've been doing the work too, and you will be doing the work. It's going to continue onwards. And the Crone is the last phase of the Goddess, the last phase of life, the waning moon, the dark moon, and that in-between space between the dark moon and the new moon, that liminal space. What I find with the Crone, of course, she is the Goddess of old age, and she's the grandmother, and she's the wise seer. She's without a doubt those things. But she's a goddess of transformation, and in that way she's a shapeshifter. In that way, I find with the Crone that boundaries and shackles and things that seem solid become more liminal. As in, when we get old, our bodies start to die, and we will die, and we will let go of our lives here. In a smaller way, working with the Crone helps us to let go of things that we have felt are important, or let go of behavioural patterns, to let go of things that we have as solid. This is how our life is, this is what we do, this is who we are. And she shakes us gently, like in a rocking chair with her by the fire. She shakes us away from those conditions and those rules we've set upon ourselves, if they no longer serve us. And therefore she's a goddess of transformation and death and rebirth. But she really does dissolve, clarification. So you can't say she's a goddess of death or birth. She is everything. She is a goddess of the sky, of the earth, and the dissolving barriers between all of these things. Maybe where the two worlds meet is where she resides. So I hope you enjoyed the meditation to meet the Crone. There's many myths and stories about walking into the deep dark woods to find an old witch's cottage. And what do we find there? Often with fairy tales we find fear. The witch in the cottage, the old lady who lives away from society, became something to be feared. And aloneness and being away from society is another huge lesson and teaching of the Crone, because as we go through the Crone phase, whether that be for women in our monthly cycle, which is when we're on our periods, or menopause, or death, these are the Crone stages, or for the gentleman, when they're leaving things behind, when they're making those transitions, when they're going within, when you guys are going within to make some changes, even though you don't have the period cycles, you still have cycles in your months and years where you're at different moods and different spaces. We learn from the crone that being alone is the only way we can know ourselves and have the courage and the strength to be ourselves and live our lives and move forwards. And the old crone is always seen as being the alone, but not lonely. She is full of her memories, of the moment of life. She's out in the woods connecting with the animals and the trees and cooking in her cauldron and singing to the ancestors. So aloneness is not lonely necessarily if you have great company within yourself. And I'm sure, I know that all you guys are great to hang out with, so you're great company for yourselves. I'm pretty awesome too, so we're all good company for ourselves. So learning to be alone and spending time alone is a great way to connect with the crone, which can be very hard if you're in a busy family, if you're in a space where it's hard to get time on your own. But if you can find some moments in a week or a weekend where you can get your own space to be alone, that would be a perfect way to have quiet time connecting with the crone. As I said, she's been seen as the old woman in the forest, and that's been seen as something terrifying and something scary, which is a terrible shame and a complete untruth in many ways. I mean, to face a crone is to face death. So often there is a lesson, a hardship, a trial, a journey towards the crone's house, a fear of what we might meet and what might happen to us on this journey. And I think that's quite a necessary fear to go through. And I was thinking of Spirited Away, if you've not seen the animation film, where the characters go to see Baba Yaga sister in the woods, and it's all very terrifying. They're going to this witch's cottage and they feel absolutely terrified. When they get there, it's this very, very cosy, lovely cottage, and she's very sweet and loving. And the myth of Baba Yaga in Russian folklore of her house is on chicken legs and moves around and spins around. How crazy is that? I love it. And the outside is decorated with bones and glowing skulls of the children that she's supposedly eaten. And yet on the inside, the cottage is cosy, the cottage is warm and relatively normal. So there's a fear of death we have to face and our own fear of fear, which is the biggest thing, isn't it? We meet before we get to the crone, and we've been on that journey. We went through it with the Dark Goddess week. We've probably faced a lot of fears over this 8 weeks. Maybe sometimes somewhere where we least expected to find them, we were afraid of an archetype, or we were afraid of something that came up and didn't want to deal with it. But yeah, we face that, and so there is an element of fear with the crone because, you know, we're human. We like to be alive generally, I think, and so we have to face the other side of things. But maybe in the past, our ancestors would not have been so afraid of death, would not have been so fearful. So we are relearning again how to accept the different cycles of life. Yes, the old lady in the woods being demonised. I wonder if this also comes from the patriarchal takeover, where of course the crone meaning crown, comes from the word shining crown. Not as cool as my 75p crown, but you know. Yeah, distracting myself with my Tesco hat. The crowned crone being the keeper of life and death and rebirth, the most important of all the archetypes in some ways. I don't think the patriarchal takeover, we're too keen on a female having such power, and maybe the change of belief made death feel more of a scary alien thing. So the Crone Goddess was demonised, was pushed out into the wild woods, pushed out of the corners of our consciousness. The woods often represent our own unconscious, and there she is, pushed out into the woods and made to be something feared. Instead of going for the theory that she was the keeper of death, she became a cannibal that would feed up children and devour them. to scare you, to say don't go near that old lady. And time went on and time went on, and with the witch trials, many of the wise women were killed, and if not killed, terrified into submission. So thousands and thousands and thousands of wise women were tortured and killed. Some old women as well, tortured and killed because of wiping out anything that wasn't the new religion, and wiping out anything that was related to herbal craft, nature craft, healing, magic, all these things. Being a little bit kooky, being a little bit magic, and of course women have all this energy that often isn't hard to understand, and you guys do too. We all have masculine and feminine within us, as I've said before, and the feminine aspect can be quite wild and untamed and hard to pin down, and all these things that became hard to control were squished. So today we have the fear of the woman in the woods. We have not so many wise ancestors, and I hope that this is shifting and changing, that our grandparents, our parents and our generations become the new wise ones. This is in the West anyway, and hopefully in other countries in the world the wise elders, I know the wise elders in other places still exist, and in Ireland, you know, you can sit around a fire and you still hear tales. The wise elders still exist. They're coming back. The wise keepers of the mysteries are all coming back again, but for a long while they were squished, and our society still thinks don't listen to the old fool, don't, you know, there's no respect given to the elders really, by the society that told us that only youth is attractive, the society that told us that only if you're a size this blonde then you're going to be hot, you know. This is the same society that we've talked about throughout the whole course that has been telling us that don't listen to that old witch. And yes, to save our souls and to save the planet, I think we better start listening. The wise woman dwells within all of us. All the archetypes, they all dwell within each other. There's a seed of the crone in the maiden, and all of the archetypes are layered in experience with the crone. And so we take her out of that place of fear. We walk towards her with knowing we have to face our own fears, but not that she is there to devour us. And we begin to become more comfortable with aging, with the aspects of the old woman and in old age, and the freedom that shaking of the barriers and the boundaries can bring us. Because we get obviously so very conditioned, and the maiden is free and wild in her own way, but she's kind of got that headstrong need to please or need to be something. She's heading towards something that's going to be defining her in some way. The mother is in a situation of bringing up children or nurturing and caring, which means you can't just go and sing at the wolves, you know, without maybe some planning first, of course, because you can sing at the wolves, but you know, there's the planning and the fact that you have to stick to certain rules. And then the crone can generally do what she likes. She can cackle around the fire, sing. She can spend time on her own and be rude to people if she doesn't like them. The crone can do all these things. And the crone can take you in and help you release things in your life, make you see them, maybe they're not as heavy and unshakable as you thought. Like in the meditation, the crone can help you weave your own fate and own destiny. The crone does help us let go. So when we've had our time of silence with the crone, maybe things come to the surface that we feel just don't really serve us. Thoughts, patterns, the way we talk to ourselves, what we agree we can and can't do, relationships, homes and jobs. Maybe we've decided that we have really truly grown out of them, and by staying in them it's weighing us down and making us heavy. And the crone can help us go through the pains of releasing these things and throw all those cares into the cauldron. Throw all those unwanted feelings and used up energies into her cauldron of transformation, and we watch her stir it up and bring out something beautiful, the new life, the new beginning from the other side. So the crone brings comfort to those that are grieving anything, grieving a loved one, grieving a phase of life that's gone, grieving something, someone, just whatever you have felt. Don't have to justify any level of grieving. She's there to help us and hold us because she knows, she's been through it all, and she will really be there for us and support us. And maybe other archetypes can't as much because they don't have that universal understanding. I see the twinkling stars in the crone's eyes because she's truly universal. She is something bigger than our worldly experience. And if you are going through the menopause, or maybe on your cycle of bleeding, then the crone can be there to go within and show us as we release. Hello, Copper. As we release what that means for us and how powerful we are because we've listened to ourselves and we've done it. And I think that's what the crone wants to say to you all today as well. How powerful you are for the journey you've been on, for the work that you've done, the releasing that you've done. And you've done this cycle. You've walked through 8 archetypes. You've walked through a lifetime of stuff that we've been carrying. And you've connected with the wise crone at the end of the road in her wild cottage, which actually is really cosy on the inside. So sit with her a while. Be with the crone. Let her tell you stories. Let her put you to work in her house. Let her teach you the ways of bettering yourself, of clearing any blocks, and of seeing the huger, bigger, wilder picture. So there are many crone goddesses. I hope you've enjoyed researching them or will enjoy researching them. Ceridwen, Morrigan, Hecate, Baba Yaga, Anis, often called Black Anis, actually the Kaliak as well. Often they've been demonised, so sometimes you have to read through some of the things that have been said about child eating and terrifying. Like Anis has been named Black Anis. She's a Celtic goddess of death and the afterlife, but she's become this terrifying figure. The Kaliak there is also the divine hag, but Anis and the Kaliak are often seen with blue-black skin. Again, it's death and transformation. So yeah, and other things like the colour blue for skin can mean many things, but not to maybe go straight with the, not to gloss over the fear, because, you know, because I said before that death is something that we will fear and change something we will fear. So not to gloss over it and make it all fluffy, because it's all very real and bones and blood and yeah. But to not be afraid and not to put fear upon that she's a character that has come to terrify us and eat our souls. If you have women that run with the wolves, you could read La Loba, which is a story of the wolf woman who collects the bones and who sings over the bones and who brings life, new life and transformation to the bones of animals that she has found, or people, you know. So maybe that can be something to think about, meditate on, that the joyful job of the crone, the crowned crone, is to gather the bones of what we have left behind and to take them and weave her magic on them and to transform them into something wonderful and new. So thank you so much. I'm going to get all tearful. Thank you so much for being a part of this course. I just want to thank you from every part of my heart and soul, because I've absolutely loved this experience and loved working with you all and loved seeing your journey and your transformation. And I want to thank you for doing this and thank you for putting all this work in. If you've not finished the course yet, that's absolutely fine. There is no time restrictions, no time limits. You can, from now, you can maybe you'll choose after you've done this course once to maybe give it a break, or you may want to go back in from the beginning again and go a little bit deeper, spend some time, a week or more, with each archetype again. It would work to go on those cycles of clearing, especially if it's brought up stuff but you feel there's more clearing to be done. Or maybe you'd like to use the course like an oracle. With the printouts, maybe you could print out the archetypes, or you could douse over a picture of the archetypes with a pendulum. And I do it with cards, but you can do it any way you like. Shuffle the 8 archetypes and ask for a situation you may be going through in life, which archetype can you work with, which archetype will help you, which archetype will help you move forward and deal with it. And then pull the card or douse and see which archetype was going to come through for you for this part of the journey. Then you can use the meditations, maybe some of the maybe some of the craft projects again. I was just trying to find my little goddess doll. Actually, I brought her down. I wanted her to be part of this. Where's she gone? Has she wandered off, my little goddess doll? Probably she has. But yeah, some of the craft projects that we've had over the past. Is me looking for my goddess doll. I don't know what I've done with her. I'll put her on the end of the video for sure. But it's me still searching. Yeah. Take your goddess dolls with you on your journey. If you've not made one yet, make one, and maybe make another one as well. Yeah, make one for another part of your life, part of your journey. Your goddess doll will be there as a reminder of your own journey and as your connection to the goddess. The Facebook group will be open, will continue to be open for as long as it's continued to be loved. I don't kind of like having dead energies in groups, like it can be a bit of a weight. So as long as the group is being loved and being used, then let's keep the group open and let's keep the conversation going. And whatever, if you have just started the course or you're just middle way through it, don't feel that you can't share where you're at. If you're behind, you're not behind, as I said. A witch is never late, she arrives exactly when she means. But if you feel you're behind and you're doing the part from 3 or 4 weeks ago, please do still share what you're experiencing from the meditations and from everything you're getting, because we'd all love to hear, I'm sure, and I'd love to hear. And share your ongoing journey with the goddess. I love you all very, very dearly. I'm so grateful for you for being on this journey with me and for making this experience so awesome. So thank you so very much. I'm going to go now before I get any more emotional and say you have all been wonderful, and may the goddess walk with you in all her glory, beauty and strength. May she support you at every step of the way, be there to guide you, love you, hold you and inspire you. With much love and much thanks to all of you in the Goddess Gang. See you all very soon. Bye. Here she is, my goddess doll. I went to go and get her. She wanted to say goodbye to you all as well, and well, it's never goodbye, but she wanted to say farewell for this round of the course. And yeah, take your doll with you on your next phase of your journey. Remember to put it on your altar in your sacred space and to connect with your goddess doll if you wish to. And bye. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye.